You've probably heard it takes 21 days to build a habit. That number is wrong. It was never based on science. It came from a plastic surgeon in the 1960s who noticed his patients took about 3 weeks to get used to their new appearance. Somewhere along the way, self-help books turned that observation into a rule. The actual number your brain uses is 66 days. Here's why, and more importantly, here's how the loop works. In 1960, a plastic surgeon named Maxwell Maltz published a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. In it, he wrote that it takes at least 21 days for an old mental image to dissolve and a new one to form. He was describing his patients, not habit formation, not neuroscience, his patients, but the quote spread. Self-help authors picked it up. Motivational speakers repeated it. And for 50 years, 21 days became accepted wisdom with no scientific basis. In 2010, researchers at University College London actually studied habit formation. They tracked 96 people over 12 weeks as they tried to build new habits, simple ones. Eating a piece of fruit with lunch, drinking a glass of water before breakfast, going for a run after work, the result. It took an average of 66 days for the behavior to become automatic. Not 21. Some habits took 18 days. Some took 254, but the average was 66. Here's what the researchers were actually measuring. Automaticity, a behavior becomes a habit when your brain can execute it without conscious effort. No decision required. No motivation required, it just happens. That shift happens in a specific part of your brain called the basal ganglia. It sits deep in the center of your brain and handles routine, automatic behaviors. Walking, driving a familiar route, brushing your teeth. When you first learn a new behavior, your prefrontal cortex handles it. That's your conscious, effortful thinking brain. It burns a lot of energy. As you repeat the behavior, your brain starts shifting control to the basal ganglia. Less energy, less effort, more automatic. That transfer takes time. On average, 66 days of consistent repetition. Your brain doesn't just store habits, it runs them on a loop. Neuroscientist Anne Graybiel at MIT mapped this loop in the 1990s, studying rats running mazes. What she found applies directly to humans. The loop has 3 parts. First, the cue, a trigger that tells your brain which habit to run. It can be a time of day, a location, an emotion, or another behavior. Your alarm goes off, that's a cue. Your brain starts loading the morning routine. Second, the routine, the behavior itself. The sequence of actions your basal ganglia executes automatically once triggered. Third, the reward, the signal that tells your brain the loop worked. Dopamine releases. Your brain tags the loop as worth repeating. Here's the critical part. The reward is what makes the loop stick. Without a clear reward, your brain has no reason to automate the behavior. It stays in the prefrontal cortex, effortful and draining, and eventually you quit. With a clear reward, your brain starts anticipating it the moment the cue appears. That anticipation is what makes habits feel automatic. You're not just running a routine, your brain is chasing the reward it already knows is coming. Most attempts to form habits fail for one of 3 reasons. First, no clear cue. You decide to exercise more, but never attach it to a specific trigger. No cue means no loop. Your brain never knows when to run the routine. Second, the routine is too hard at the start. Your prefrontal cortex gets overwhelmed before the basal ganglia takes over. You quit before day 66. Third, the reward is delayed or unclear. You're trying to build an exercise habit, but the reward is losing weight in 3 months. Your brain can't connect a reward that far away to a behavior happening now. Fix all 3, and your habit loop closes. Miss any one, and it falls apart. 4 things to do when building your next habit. 1. Attach it to an existing cue. After I pour my morning coffee, I will read for 10 minutes. The coffee is the cue. Your brain already runs that trigger. Attach the new behavior to it. 2. Start smaller than feels necessary. If you want to run every day, start by putting on your running shoes. That's it, the routine will expand naturally once the loop forms. 3. Create an immediate reward. After your new behavior, do something that feels good right away. a small treat, a check mark on a calendar, telling someone what you did. Your brain needs the dopamine hit now, not in 3 months. 4. Expect the dip around day 30. The UCL study found that most people felt the behavior getting harder around the 4-week mark before it started feeling easier. That dip is your prefrontal cortex handing off to your basal ganglia. It's supposed to feel hard. Push through it. 21 days were never real. 66 days is the average, and even that varies. What matters is the loop. Cue, routine, reward. Repeat it long enough, and your basal ganglia take over. After that, the habit runs on its own. You don't need motivation to maintain a real habit. You just need to have run the loop enough times for your brain to do it automatically. That's the goal. Automatic. If this changed how you think about habits, subscribe. Next video: why handwriting beats typing for learning.